Are you here? Well, of course you are. Where else would you be? Guantánamo Bay, held political prisoner by these United States? Oh, that could never happen here, right, folks? My countrymen, we must realize that the worst is possible in this land. Today, the Paul Leslie Hour welcomes recently released political prisoner Peter Navarro. Peter's honoring his newly reclaimed freedom and exercising his First Amendment with a new book, The New MAGA Deal, the unofficial Deplorables Guide to Donald Trump's 2024 Policy Platform, from Winning Team Publishing. Never has a winning path been more fraught with evil and more humbling than this, what could be America's ultimate election. We humbly ask that you subscribe to Paul's YouTube channel and by all means leave your comments. And with that, we proudly present Peter Navarro.
Dr. Navarro, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us.
What's up, my brother? It's election season, less than 90 days to either winning or losing this country. So happy to talk to you this morning.
Well, it's a great pleasure. You almost need no introduction, but of course we're talking with Peter Navarro, and Dr. Navarro has a new book out, The New MAGA Deal, from Winning Team Publishing. And everybody, you can look at newmagadeal.com, newmagadeal.com for more information. So, Dr. Navarro, what does that exactly mean to you? We all know MAGA, but what is the new MAGA deal?
The new MAGA deal describes the policy platform of the Trump campaign, and it's 100 actions in 100 days in 37 chapters based on the major issues that define this campaign. If you remember back with Bill Clinton in 92, when he first ran, he had a little admonition that he'd look at every day. It's the economy, stupid. With this campaign, it's the Trump policy agenda, stupid. What we don't want to do is get into some kind of personality fight with the Harris crowd because we beat her on policy. And if you go down kind of the list of what matters to voters from the most salient to the least, you start at the top. It's kind of a neck and neck race between inflation and the economy versus border security. These are the two major issues of the campaign. And if you look at the economy and inflation, Trump has a double-digit lead. Harris has embraced Bidenomics. Bidenomics is the root of this inflationary evil. We win on that. Second, border security. That one's a slam dunk because even though the corporate media is trying to scrub it from the history, Harris owns that problem. She was appointed border czar by Biden. Go down there and solve the problem, Kamala, in 2021. She refused to do it. Derelict in her duty, and 8 million or 10 million illegals followed her in, creating the havoc that we see today that's really bothering voters. So the economy and inflation, border security. The third issue, and in the New MAGA Deal book, newmagadeal.com, Rick Grinnell writes a beautiful chapter on this, on foreign policy. He's a former Trump official. The issue there is I can't think of another presidential candidate from a major party with less foreign policy experience than Kamala Harris. And what's stark about this is in Trump land, in Trump's America, communist China, imperial Russia, the mullahs of Iran, Rocket Man in North Korea left us and the rest of the world alone because they feared and respected Donald Trump. In contrast, if you look at the chaos, the geopolitical chaos of Harris and Biden, you've got Gaza in flames with Iran threatening to provoke a regional and possibly world war. You've got Russia doing its mischief in the Ukraine, wasting tens of billions of dollars of U.S. taxpayer money. You've got communist China in the Straits of Taiwan. None of that would have happened if Trump were in office. And if he gets back in, he can solve that kind of those problems far better than Kamala Harris. So that's three: inflation, the border, foreign policy. Then you get the law and order. I mean, look, Kamala is the defund the police queen. When Minneapolis was in flames, she was raising money for the people who set the fires, even as her running mate, Walz, as governor, refused to do anything about Minneapolis burning, even as senior citizens were dying in nursing homes because Walz, her running mate, mismanaged the COVID crisis. So inflation, border crisis, foreign policy, law and order. Then you have the weaponization of the justice system, which affected me, put me in prison. The new MAGA Deal book, newmagadeal.com, it's also at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, has 3 different chapters on the dysfunction in our justice system by guys like Mike Davis, who I actually love that guy. He's just so good at what he does. Finally, there's all the woke issues. I mean, the nickname, it's like I cringe every time I hear it, but it's accurate. Tampon Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's running mate. It's like, what goes on in a guy's mind to want to put tampons in a men's boys bathroom? How do you go?
Good question.
It's just, I mean, it's insane. And you see that Olympic boxer or woman boxer just get bullied by a guy with an XY chromosome. And it's like, that's what these people, Harris and Walz, support. So it's the policy agenda, stupid. It's the Trump policy agenda, stupid. It's policy, stupid. The new MAGA Deal book, newmagadeal.com, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, basically lays all this out. And in the less than 100 days, we just got to go at Harris, Walz on policy. And I can't imagine the Trump campaign not winning by a large margin if people simply understand. Now, the book's important because it's got to offset all that crap from the corporate media. We're not running against Harris. We're running against ABC, CBS, NBC, PBS, CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, and the Washington Post. Throw in a little Atlantic Monthly there. It's like, so my mission now is to spread the secular gospel of the Trump policy agenda. The new MAGA Deal book, newmagadeal.com, is where we're doing it. Last thing I'll tell you about the book, it's Don Jr.'s publishing house, Winning Strategies. Couldn't be more honored to do that. And it's great to be talking with you.
It's a great honor, I can tell you that. And I was listening to your interview with the great Rose of Rose Unplugged. You did a great interview with her, but there was something you said. Nobody has a more extreme record than Kamala Harris. And even the mainstream media, which you were just talking about, they have acknowledged that. What does happen if she and this Tim Walz, what happens if they somehow win?
This is an interesting point because the Trump campaign now is going full bore on the extremism of Harris Walz. But I think there's really 2 things to run on, right? There is certainly the far left agenda of higher taxes, more regulation, more inflation that's going to crush the economy, the extremism of a totally open border so you don't have a country, the extremism, all these woke agendas in K-12 and all that. But at the same time, over here, there's the incompetence and inexperience card we have to play as well. You don't have to, you don't have to be extreme on the economy to screw it up. I mean, they've just messed it up simply because they don't know how to take care of supply chains. And yeah, they're spending too much money on extreme programs, but combination of incompetence and experience. The border crisis is like they don't know what to do now. They just have no idea, even if they wanted to do it. And so I think the best way to argue that inexperience card is on foreign policy. So extremism, inexperience, incompetence. That's kind of my triangle, my triumvirate there.
Well, a lot of people saw your speech at the RNC. It went viral, and it was the same day you were released from prison. Something that you said resonated with me. They did not break me, you said. So when you had your freedom taken from you day after day in confinement, what did you dwell on? How did you stay strong?
Look, I went to prison to defend the Constitution. Men and women, young men and women in uniform every day put themselves in significant dangers defending this country. So relative to that, mine was a relatively small sacrifice. So it's like my mission once I got in there was basically to keep my physical health, to keep mentally strong, and keep spiritually strong. So that was my focus every day. And when you're in that kind of situation, you take it 1 hour at a time. That's what you do. And I think they're going to regret putting me in prison because I took the time while I was in there to talk to virtually every inmate in there. There are over 200 there. And I learned so much about the rot of the Bureau of Prison system that really is the responsibility of Harris, Biden. Colette Peters is the director of that. After the election, I'm going to talk a lot more about that, but that's coming. I did my time. My fiance visited me on weekends, and at the speech I gave, I wanted to make the point that family, when they put a guy like me in prison simply for doing his duty for political reasons, I want everybody to understand they punish my family as well, and that's what I can't forgive them for. Mm-hmm. If they want to come after me, I get it. It's a political ring. Okay, take your best shot. But when they go after family, that's when they go too far. And so that's an issue that's going to have to be dealt with sometime down the road. I think accountability is really important in this because if we don't hold them accountable, they're just going to keep doing it. And that's not good for the country.
Everybody can check out newmagadeal.com, Peter Navarro's new book, The New MAGA Deal. And I'm curious because a lot of the people who are watching, they're probably going to think, well, I'm not a politician. I don't work in D.C. What do you hope the reader gets out of the experience of reading this book when they pick it up?
What I said at the convention was if we don't control our government, their government will control us. And in the chapters by Mike Davis and myself on some of these woke issues and on the injustice system now, the weaponization, I think it's crystal clear that everybody's at risk now. If they can come for me, they can come for you. If they can come for Donald Trump, they can come for you. And whether they've already done this, coming for Catholics, coming for people that go to school, parents who go to school boards and say, hey, more reading, writing, arithmetic, less of that woke stuff you're doing. I think I said I went to prison so you won't have to. People need to wake up. If they can do that to me, they can do it to you. I can assure you of that. I'm guilty of nothing other than defending the Constitution and, oh, by the way, being an advisor to Donald Trump. That's what that was about. So there it is. But I'm focused on the New MAGA Deal book, newmagadeal.com, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. I'm focused on making sure we win in November. 'Cause I'm telling you, if we don't win, we're going to lose this country, full stop.
Well, Dr. Navarro, thank you so much. Everyone out there, newmagadeal.com, lots of great information. Pay particular attention to the chapter on borders. There's really great information there, newmagadeal.com. My last question, are you optimistic?
Am I optimistic? I'm never optimistic. I'm a realist. I try to have no ups, no downs. You just go forward with the mission, and you try to stay happy in life, which is different from optimism.
I like your style. Thank you, sir.
All right, brother. You take care.
Great pleasure.
All right. Bye-bye.
We thank you and appreciate you dropping in for the Paul Leslie Hour today. You know, you can help the Paul Leslie Hour in our mission to provide independent media content like this by visiting www.thepaulleslie.com/support. We truly thank you. This is your announcer speaking. Performance of The Entertainer intro song and Corina Corina outro song courtesy of John Primorano. Well, that's it for today. So until next time, be safe and be good.